The recording has started. Hey, my name is Luke, and this is Uncivil Liberty. We have Halston in the house. Say hi, Halston.
Thank you. I'm in the house.
And then we have the other Luke Von Trapp, also known as Horace. Say hi, Horace.
Hello.
All right. And so we're actually doing something a little bit different. We're not going live. We had issues last week with going live. We think that maybe going live may not necessarily be the best format for us, so we're not doing it.
Giving
So
you a little
instead, we're
switcheroo.
just kind of doing just like this recorded type of podcast-y type of thing.
For now, at least.
Yep. And so it's always something new with us. We're gonna try something new, something different every single time. I need to figure out these lights. God bless. I look like I haven't seen the sun in ages.
I can see through.
Oh my God. All right. Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm surprisingly tan, except in this light. So we'll have to figure this shit out for sure.
Anyway, so we're moving on. If you haven't checked us out, check out our Facebook page on Civil Liberty Show. It's on Facebook. And then, of course, our website, uncivilliberty.com. There's actually some content being put out there. I've got some more content coming out myself personally. I think Halston and Horace are both working on some new things.
We've got some stuff coming.
Now it looks like I'm just a gamer. Okay, awesome. So, and I've never done this before, but I think we may have a special guest with us.
Oh?
Yeah.
No, it's not working. God bless. Figures. All right. Anyway, moving on. So tonight we're gonna be talking about Bitcoin. This seems to be all the rage. All the rage. I cannot get away from people talking about Bitcoin, and to the point of where I just kind of want to start slapping Nazis. You know, I mean that's how you
Triggered.
Rolls. If you get bum stalked one too many times, it's done. You know. So. But Halston and I engage in a pretty interesting back and forth online, and every now and then, you know, Halston and I may disagree on something, but it's very, very.
Once.
Horace, did you see it yourself?
What?
The back and forth between Halston and I on Facebook about Bitcoin.
I think I saw part of it because I think Katie commented something about a boom, and then I had. It's like, okay, you know, always a boom. I had to post the Ivanova meme.
Ivanova is God.
You know.
Ivanova is God.
So.
All right, so
you know.
we'll go with that. Anyways, so
you have watched Babylon 5, right?
It's been ages.
It's been a long time.
As everybody may know who don't know, you're going to know now. I'm a Star Trek kind of guy. That's how I get down.
I like Star Trek, but as far as sci-fi series, Babylon 5 holds my heart and always will.
No, that's from a lot of people. But this is not sci-fi chat. This is Uncivil Liberty. Halston will start glazing over here. He's like, I just want to watch some UFC. And
that's right. Yeah.
Hey, I'm down with UFC as well.
Yeah.
All right. So anyways, Halston and I had some back and forth about Bitcoin. Halston's an advocate for it. I'm a little more in the I'm kind of hanging back a little bit. Oh, it looks like somebody just put something in the chat. Okay. And so we kind of had a little back and forth on it. We figured, hey, this might actually be good to kind of flesh out over the microphones, over the video, and kind of see what's going to happen. What is this thing? Now, first and foremost, because I'm licensed with FINRA, regulated by the SEC, with my Series 6 and 63, I do have to state that this in no way, shape, or form is being construed as professional investment advice. No way at all. These are just personal opinions in regards to how we feel about this topic. If you have questions regarding these type of commodities, I highly recommend you seek out somebody who is licensed and registered with the CFTC, which is the Commodities and Futures Trading Commission. I keep want to say committee or council. It's commission.
It's one of those government words.
Because it is a commodity. I am not by any stretch of the imagination advocating for you to go out and buy Bitcoin, Litecoin, or any other cryptocurrency. I'm simply stating these are my personal opinions. This is Halston's personal opinion. This is Horace's personal opinion. Not investment advice. And Halston kicked this thing off.
Well, you said I'm an advocate for Bitcoin. I'm not necessarily an advocate. I feel like I'm more of a projected realist. How about that? Yeah, I feel like digital currency, not necessarily cryptocurrency, but I feel like digital currency is probably the way of the future for what most Americans do. And when Americans do it, most of the world does, especially when it comes to online shopping. I think that's the way of the future when we start to roll around year 2032. So I know that's quite a bit of a stretch, and it's like an odd number I'm reaching for, but that just also happens to be when I want to say that's when Bitcoin goes down to 2 or something like that. Again, anyways, but I believe that that's what's going to happen, and I believe that Bitcoin probably leads the charge because it's the most famous. Most people believe in it the most. Most people would back it the most. Most people are investing in it the most, as opposed to some of the other coins. So that's as far as what I think digital currency is going to do. As far as Bitcoin and what it represents, the other side of cryptocurrency would be the blockchain. And that's what most people don't really understand about it. They just think it's this magical thing of numbers and that's all it is. But the blockchain is kind of the meat and potatoes of all cryptocurrency. And it's a digital ledger. And it's instantaneous and it's transparent. It's much more transparent than cash. And it's also highly accurate when it comes to trading online. I'm giving you this for this service. So I personally feel like it's the way of the future when it comes to money being spent online. And more of our lives are becoming more and more online every single day. I just think that's probably the best way to back it is with a little bit of cryptocurrency. However, if you're putting money into the cryptocurrency market right now, you're a moron. Or very ballsy.
and that's one thing that's really important to stress is like anytime that you're playing with anything that has high volatility, that has super risk, anyone who has any experience in the markets would be amiss to not say you don't put money you need into these type of endeavors. I don't give a shit if you're talking about gold, silver, actual tangible commodities, or if you're talking about Forex, which is the currency exchanges, anything like that. You don't put the money that you need to live on in there. This is money that you are okay with setting on fire. And if you win, awesome. But this is money that has to not be your bread and butter to make it through life.
One more thing to what I was saying to that.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So what you're saying, unless you are willing to set this money on fire, that goes for day trading of cryptocurrency. Yeah. That goes for long range investment. That's even people like me who believe that cryptocurrency is the way of the future. Even it's really stupid for me to buy into it right now. It's so volatile, it's nuts. I do it because I just happen to have $90 to piss away.
There you go. That's how it's done.
You know what I mean? So it's fine for me to do something like that. But even if you believe that this is the way of the future, nothing else could possibly happen. You've seen it in your crystal ball. This is still a really stupid investment for you to go dump a bunch of money in.
Yeah. And so I totally agree. Horace, you got anything to add to this? You're kind of quiet.
Well, just waiting for y'all to finish.
Go ahead.
For me, all the cryptocurrencies, I don't advise putting any money into it, and unless you are just willing to just literally throw that money away. Just go ahead and write it off as a loss, not legally on taxes, of course, because you can't do that. But just go ahead.
Well, actually, you kind of can now, considering it's taxed as capital gains and capital loss.
Yeah, if you're going to tax me on it, I'm gonna claim it.
But basically, consider it a write-off. Go ahead. It's very volatile. To use, and if I may have my terminology backwards, but if you were to look at any kind of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, whatever, then you better be somebody who is very, very comfortable in a bull market. If you are more the bear market type, stay as far away from it as you can. I do have those right, correct, Luke?
Bear market is when the market drops, or if a stock or anything being traded is going to go down. Bull is if it's going to go up.
Well, to me, I've always seen it. Bull tends to be more outgoing, more risk taking. The bear market is more conservative, less risk taking.
You typically it. Yeah, I mean, I think at this point we're at semantics. If you're looking at a bull market typically means that hey it's charging hard, it's going up. Bears are the ones who are kind of like the pessimists saying, I think it's gonna come down, and yeah, I think we're on the same wavelength.
Okay.
Bulls versus the Bears.
Yeah. For me, it's unless you are literally willing to write that money off as if you never had it, don't even think about it.
Right.
They're too volatile. And here's one of the things that really gets to me about all this is so many of the people that are so fucking crazy about cryptocurrencies. These are the same people who are constantly bitching about fiat currencies.
Good,
and it's
good segue, because
there is absolutely no fucking difference. It's all fiat. There's nothing backing it. Other than belief.
So in this stance, a fiat currency is a currency that's issued by decree of a government. All right. So, but it's usually it's used synonymously with any type of currency that has no real backing to it. For those of you who aren't necessarily familiar, you go back to the earlier days, and our currency was backed by gold. That was, that's not the case anymore. It's based off the good faith and good credit of the United States government through the Federal Reserve. So there's nothing that backs the U.S. dollar. It's just wishful thinking, and that's honestly kind of what Bitcoin is, or any of these cryptocurrencies. Is there's nothing actually tangibly backing it that you can actually exchange it, one for one for whatever commodity that would be backing a currency in another situation.
Right. Depending on the day, you may not even be able to trade one Bitcoin for another Bitcoin online.
Yeah.
It's that volatile and non-existent.
If you sit here and you look, and then Horace nailed it on the head. These people who are running around saying that the U.S. dollar is shit, it's not backed by anything, blah, 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 they're the same ones who are coming out saying Bitcoin is the greatest thing in the world. Hey, it's a fiat currency based on the decree of the market. There's been a massive rise based on the free market, and that's cool. I have no problems with that.
On the same side of the tongue, though, the people who are bitching about Bitcoin because it's not backed by anything are the ones that support the U.S. dollar. It's virtually the same give and take both ways.
Well, I'm actually I see them both as equals, so I don't know where I fall in that equation, because
I see them both as equal too. If you're bitching about one, you got to bitch about the other.
Exactly.
If you're talking about fiat currency in general, if you're talking about something not being backed, you gotta just say both of them are kind of full of shit.
Yeah. Well, see, for me, the principles behind cryptocurrency, which is blockchain technology, is brilliant. There's been no system ever developed I know of that can do what it can do and can provide the security it can provide. The problem is nothing backing it. Now, if you want to, and I won't, if this gets out to them and they want to steal this idea, I would appreciate at least some credit. But
good luck.
If it comes down to it, if you want something like this to succeed and to actually have some kind of utility, get Amazon to do their own, where it's backed by a set of commodities, to where 100 Amazon A-coins will get you 2 tons of rice.
Yeah, say what you want to about Bezos. I think he would sit there and chew on that idea. He's not. I don't think he'd be opposed to that. You can always exchange it for books. It's backed by a book.
There you go.
But the fact that it would be backed by something tangible and a set value, it keeps it from swinging all over the place, which is the biggest problem with fiat currency.
One A-coin is backed by a case of diapers from diapers.com.
Something like that, whatever.
Perfect. Anything.
Something tangible. Something with a tangible set value.
Right.
Because I hang my paycheck on dollar bills, I'm perfectly fine hanging my paycheck on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to print any more Bitcoin. They can always print more dollars.
That is a fair statement. That there is a finite amount of Bitcoin. Just like any other resource that's out there. And no, because when they created it, it's like there's only X amount of Bitcoin, and that's it.
My understanding is they can recode it to introduce more.
If that's the case, then we're just dealing with the digitized version of the Fed at this point. Quantitative easing.
It can be done, but it will not be done.
Oh, I'm not saying it will be done. I'm saying it can be done.
Yeah, this is all open source technology. It can be anything. Can be.
Done. It just requires something like, 80, 90% of the blockchain to agree to it, and that ain't happening.
Yeah, and that's the one. Not only is it there's a finite amount, you can't, like I was saying on our post back and forth. It's not only is it a finite amount, but it's the only amount that there ever will be. Unlike gold, where all you have to do is dig in your backyard and find some on accident. Yeah. Then there's
Where the hell do you live? I know exactly where you live. I have been digging in my yard. There ain't no.
Oh, come dig in my yard. But I'm not saying that that's all you have to do to find gold. I'm saying if you do that and you find gold, then voila, there's more gold on the market. It's like it's like asking if God exists.
Yeah.
You can't prove he doesn't exist because all he has to do is pop out from behind the moon and say, "Here I am." It's the same thing.
Yeah. Until he does, though.
Right. Yeah.
So kind of going back into the Bitcoin thing, there's been a lot of stuff that's happened, probably say between the first of the month and now, where we've seen just massive, just a massive rush on Bitcoin. For those of you who also don't know, I'm huge into Forex. You'd be like, oh, you're trashing Bitcoin, but you like the whole trading of fiat currencies and blah. Yeah. I enjoy the market movement. I enjoy watching it, and so you kind of taking a look at the Bitcoin versus the U.S. dollar. It's crazy just looking at some of these charts and seeing how monstrous growth. This massive inflation in value over the course of a very, very short period of time. Because honestly, like for a stock to get to $20,000 a share, it takes a while.
Are there any that even are that high?
Hell yeah, Berkshire Hathaway's $300,000 a share.
Wow.
Warren Buffett's company. Yeah. Oh yeah. But if you sit down, you kind of watch the trends.
You can't buy it.
Do what?
Yeah, you're never going to see what's his name saying sell on Berkshire Hathaway.
Jim Cramer. Oh, you want to talk Jim Cramer? Come on, let's talk some Jim Cramer.
I don't want to talk Jim Cramer.
I love Jim Cramer.
I don't.
I've got most all of his books.
I'd rather read his fucking books than listen to him talk.
Oh my God, there's some really good books. There's one called The Confessions of a Wall Street Addict. It talks to his autobiography. It's pretty. I think
I've read that one.
It's good. I got it. You can come over here and borrow it after you're done digging up gold in your backyard. But no, if you sit down and you just take a look at the charts, and anyone it's okay. First off, one thing that amazes me is how many market experts Bitcoin has made over the past.
That is what kills me.
These people are just like, they know everything about candlestick patterns, and they're this and this. You really, what were you doing a month ago? Well, I was just flipping burgers. Okay.
The thing that gets me is when I've been following cryptocurrency. I'm a crypto hipster. I've been following it forever.
Back before it was cool.
Way before it was cool.
Yeah.
And when you have someone come in, it's like, well, it's a bubble. It's gonna pop. Like, I know what happens. I've been here before.
I'm that guy.
If you want to know how to use Coinbase, I can tell you how to do it. That's all I'm saying.
I know how to use Coinbase. That's how I ditched mine a while back. I had sold a T-shirt for part of a Bitcoin, and so I was like, okay. I had to dig out an old phone I hadn't used in 5 years to find the wallet, and then sit there and be like, oh, now it's got to update. Oh, then they hit me with a service charge. Okay, great. But I mean, eventually, I think I sold a T-shirt for like almost $200, so I can't really bitch too much. I just like, I do have a piece of a Bitcoin, so I might as well. But if you tie it and you go look at the charts, you don't see this type of run. And given my experience in the markets and watching this, anytime there's a massive run, there's going to be a fall. Now, is that fall going to happen tomorrow, or is it going to happen a year from now? Who knows? There's a lot of variables in play. Yeah. But one thing that I will say is, like, the past couple days have been really interesting as far as how how Bitcoin is actually starting to trend, it seems like it hit that resistance right about the $20,000 mark.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a hair under, and it's actually kind of starting to fall. And what you're starting to see is a retracement happening. And so, this is a good, honestly, like yesterday or the day before would have been a good day to start shorting it because you could have made some serious money off of it, off the short. But I don't think it's going to hold on like this for too much longer.
Well, so far, if you want to look at charts and markets, you can't. It's really hard to compare this to anything else, obviously, because of the growth that you've seen. But so far, crypto has only gone up and then fallen back down to like consolidate, and then goes back up. It doesn't really crash like you would see in some of the other markets. I think this is the first time that we have the ability to see crypto crash. Like maybe not Litecoin, because Litecoin's pretty standard. It stays pretty even keel. Not that we'll talk about that, I'm sure, but since he's what's his name is offloaded a shit ton.
He's cashed out. He's like, I'm done with this Litecoin. I'm out.
Yeah, so we may see that come down a little bit, but that's kind of been the standard. It's been like 1 to 4, and then it's been really even keel, and Bitcoin jumps, and then it'll jump up to meet Bitcoin a little bit, But I think this is our first chance to see it crash and burn, and lots of people will cry.
Well, and that's kind of what I guess I'm getting at is that when you see this much of a change, it's not necessarily logic driven. It's not necessarily through a strong technical analysis. People are jumping on the bandwagon. It's based on emotion, and one of the worst things ever when you're dealing with any type of investing or trading or anything like that is the human emotion element.
Oh yeah.
And so all it's going to take is for a good chunk of people to start getting panicked and start selling their shit, and then you start seeing the market come down again. Is it a bubble? Yes, I think there's a lot of things that are a bubble. I think our stock market's a bubble. There's honestly where's the stock market? I don't even keep up with equities that much. Where are we at? 24. That's the Dow 30. Whatever. But we are just massive. Our stock market's just massively just huge. Yep. But you're also keep in mind there's a lot of companies that are in the stock market that stock prices shouldn't be that high. You look at companies like Guitar Center, Best Buy. They carry a massive amount of debt. They don't ever pay off their debt. They just refinance their debt.
Yeah.
And eventually, I mean, that's a house of cards. That's it.
It's hard to find a company that's not a house of cards. That's
right.
That's the challenge.
Let's if you want to talk equities, you can look at Sears. Sears has been a shit show for how long? Sears made this amazing decision to buy Kmart and has done nothing with it. It has destroyed Sears.
No, they've just closed a bunch of them.
Seriously, they've done a lot with Kmart. They've closed
exactly.
a number of them.
To the point where the CEO of Sears is the hedge fund manager that just bought Sears, and now he's got a Kmart he has to deal with. Yep. And they're constantly taking loans out in the hedge fund's name. Mm-hmm. To pay for some of the liabilities that Sears has got to do to keep the doors open, So there's just a lot of bubbles starting to form.
Yeah.
And if Bitcoin bubble bursts at roughly the same time, if the stock market bubble bursts,
and we have a real estate market bubble.
Well, honestly, the real estate market's not too bad. People are kind of like,
I don't know, man. Have you seen some of those numbers lately? Like today's numbers?
I haven't seen today's numbers.
Oh man, it's
the last time I looked at it. It's like it's not.
It's
not
to that point where
it's
to that point where the people who are looking for that $160,000 to $260,000 house can't find them, and so the prices are fucking
shop Decatur,
where they want to live.
Yeah,
it is easy as hell to find a 3-bedroom.
But those aren't the people that you're talking about, though. We're talking about the ones that have 4 kids and they all want them to go to the best schools and the best districts. When you talk about housing market bubbles, it's not going to happen here. It may happen in Decatur, it may happen in Birmingham. It ain't going to happen here because we're supported by the government.
Yeah, we Huntsville feeds off the federal government's teat, and they do it.
I was just about to say, over here you can find a 3-bedroom house, 1.5 to 2 bath. Under $100K, easy as pie. I mean, it's insanely easy to find.
Yeah, but that's not the type of house that causes a housing market fall.
No, it's these McMansions that
It's the ones that are not like my neighborhood, not where I live, but the ones in front of me. Like those types of houses.
Those are some nice houses too. Let me tell you, I did some insurance inspections on those. Freaking nice.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, there's a lot of bubbles forming. Yeah, and what
Fun.
what makes me laugh is you have these people who are these armchair, market analysts who just recently picked this up a couple days ago, who was like, nope, Bitcoin's not a bubble. Go ahead and laugh. Yeah, it's not a bubble. Dude,
the entire economy is a bubble.
Huh? Oh yeah.
The entire economy is a bubble right now.
It just depends on which
I
one
think
goes
Bitcoin
in.
is a bubble. If you're going off of past analysis, it's not. It's going to fall down to about where it started. So from 11,000 to its first big jump was about 15,000, 14,000. I think that's probably where it falls to. But as bloated as it is, it could fall way down.
No, I think in any time that you're going back to looking at the markets, typically it'll settle back to where it was trending before.
Yep.
I don't have the Fibonacci retracements up. I don't have the Bollinger Bands going. I'm not going to go that deep into it because most of those are just lagging indicators anyways. It's not going to help you that much. But yeah, I think you're right. I could see it whenever this cool new fad hipster aspect of Bitcoin actually settles out. It'll probably come back down to 11 and 12.
Yeah, I think it'll be a little higher because it was at 11, but it was at 11 for a while. I just say that. I think it probably settles back around 14, but we're talking about that's a change that could happen back and forth for about 6 months. 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 14.
Well, based on the chart that I'm looking at, it seems like it hovered in the 45 range for probably about the longest amount of time, 5,000 range, and then slowly started to climb, had a little bit of come back down, and it was when was that? We're looking at it hit 11,000. I mean, it went from
11,000 started like November. I think I'm a little outside of my scope here. Maybe end of November or something like that.
I'm looking at the date right now. So we saw the actual some of the biggest rally actually on the first
December 1st.
December 1st.
Right, so I was actually thinking I said 14, but that's not what I meant. I meant 85. I don't know what. Totally different, but I'm thinking more like 85. 85 is about right for me. That's my. I don't know why I said 14. Doesn't matter.
So I think, and the biggest thing I think caused for December 1st was the CTFC or CFTC came out and said, hey, you're good to go. We're gonna start monitoring any derivatives that you guys do through Bitcoin. Kind of gave them the green light, and so you see a lot of people just kind of being like, okay, we're in the clear, and so they kind of just jumped in. Oh, we're all in. Hopefully, they're not technically all in. Hopefully, they've got some money. They're diversified in some way, shape, or form. Because if this goes down, you can probably see gold going up. So if you have at least a decent balance inside a portfolio, you should be able to weather whatever storm Bitcoin throws at you.
I was about to say, that to me, that is probably the one thing that can potentially have the greatest effect and is most likely to cause a tremendous crash is if the government steps in and starts controlling what aspects of it they can.
Okay, well, let's move the topic onto from the government oversight aspect of it.
Yeah.
It is a commodity based on the Commodities and Future Trading Commission. They now have oversight of this. That's part of the reason why Coinbase is getting hammered so hard from the federal government. Also, the IRS is coming at them too, saying we need to know who's trading what so we can properly tax them.
Yeah.
So Coinbase is getting hit left and right. I mean, they're like probably the biggest name in the United States when it comes to the whole Bitcoin revolution that you're seeing. And so because of that, they're catching a lot of flack from the government. What do you guys think?
Yeah, they should have just stayed offshore.
Yeah.
I mean, they've made tons of money since they moved to the United States. But I remember once upon a time, Apple wouldn't even approve them as an app. And I want to say that to date, since December 1st, they have been the highest, most downloaded app.
Probably. So the problem is that now that the CFTC has jurisdiction over what happens with Bitcoin, if Coinbase said screw this, we're leaving, we're going to Australia, what ends up happening is that all these barriers come up, and that's largely through the Dodd-Frank Act. Not a lot of people know about it, but it really hampers international trading, especially of commodities and futures. You can only do so much of a margin. You can only do this and this, and like I was telling these guys earlier. I tried opening up a Forex account over in Australia. The guys came back and said, "Hey, sorry, we can't. We'd love to have you, but your government won't let you have an account over here, and we have to stay in compliance with our government, which means we have to be in compliance with your government." And so there are a couple of countries that they just don't care, like Cyprus and Turkey, which a lot of people kind of get a little funny when it comes to opening up accounts in certain regions along those lines. I can kind of see that, but that really hampers trading. If Bitcoin is the be all, or I guess the poster child for anonymous free market trading, if it leaves the United States, you're gonna be pretty much screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're gonna be severely throttled in what you can and can't do as far as Bitcoin trading.
Yeah, as far as online marketplace trading, yeah. You'd have to go back to what we've been doing for the last 10 years, which is find someone who has it and buy it.
Right. You have to go back to like Facebook groups to do this.
Yeah. Which would kill it.
Send a
but even then, the thing is, before, when people were trading these Bitcoins amongst themselves, the government didn't get two shits. They didn't declare authority over it. They're like, yeah, it's annoying, whatever.
No,
whatever.
Until they realize that the fucking nerds are right. The nerds are right, and there is some value to blockchain technology. And then they're like, well, fuck, now what do we do?
I don't even know that they look at it from that viewpoint. I think it's more a case of, well, as far as U.S. dollar value, there's a whole lot of value out there right now that we can't tax.
Mm-hmm. It's all revenue. Yeah. It's definitely revenue. It's definitely a revenue issue. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, because how do you tax something that nobody can really track? It's throwing them for a loop. But somehow people are actually able to break into these exchanges. Because I think there's a story on, I think, either Zero Head or Seeking Alpha, talking about how North Korea cracked into one of the South Korean exchanges and stole a whole bunch of Bitcoin. So people are trying to actually compromise these systems. Yeah. So it's not too far off to say maybe there's something going on that we don't necessarily know about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're getting in and stealing Bitcoin, it's virtually a Bitcoin or any fractions thereof is virtually untraceable. But the use of that Bitcoin is 100% traceable. Mm-hmm. Not to a person, of course. It's anonymous, but those individual transactions are as transparent as they get.
Owning a Bitcoin wallet isn't traceable though. So you bounce it through 4 or 5, boom.
Right. That's true. But the blockchain is, you can't confuse it at this point. You're not going to say, like if you're buying something illegal, right? You're on the black market and they find you, right? Sorry, I'm sorry. So you're buying a machine gun, let's say, something really we're going really crazy, something really violent that kills a bunch of people, like a bump stock. But you decide that you can meet this person and pay cash, or you can pay Bitcoin over the internet. you're going to get caught with Bitcoin. I mean, maybe not, but the chance, if they find out where that gun came from, they're going to be able to look at wallets and be like, okay, so this went out, this came in, that's you. As opposed to me handing you a handful of cash. You can't just, you're not going to trace that. If I go to your house and just leave you some cash in the back of your car and walk away, no one's going to know where that came from. There's no fingerprints on it.
Even then, they're not really tracking. They're not able to do it via the Bitcoin itself.
Right.
It's via the accounts that are being used.
Correct. It's the lines in the ledger.
Whether it be Silk Road, well, not even that. The Silk Road account, or everybody remembers Silk Road though. You know, it's like if you were doing it on Facebook, it's the Facebook account. It's not the actual Bitcoin that they're tracking it through. It's how the exchange is made.
Yeah, I mean, it's the dumbassedness of the transaction. That's how they're doing it. They catch, but if they catch us, you know, they catch me with a machine gun, and I'm not giving it up, and all they see is I used to have a bunch of cash. They have no clue where that cash went. But if they see that they're going through my computer and they find my wallet and they're like, oh, where'd all this Bitcoin go? And now all of a sudden they're looking for that one transaction of that $12,000, whatever it is, $12,145 for that machine gun that I may or may not own.
Right.
You know, it's.
I got a crying one here. Something
all right.
Okay, you go deal with that. We'll talk about this.
Cool.
Poor thing.
Yeah. But again, I mean, it's easy enough to have several wallets set up. Just because it's not in the one wallet, you know. And again, there's no way for them to tell who a wallet belongs to.
That's right. I mean, I was talking the other day with someone because I was talking about when I was originally pitching this, like the affiliate program for Coinbase is fantastic, right? It's like every person you sign up, once they spend $100 in Bitcoin, you each get $10 in Bitcoin. So I mean, it's just a fantastic affiliate program. Yeah. So I was trying to hawk it, you know.
Yeah.
And someone I got into it. I was talking back and forth. I was saying that Coinbase is also a wallet, right? You can also hold your Bitcoin there. I'm not advising it. I think that's really stupid if you want to keep it in the most widely used online trading or online Bitcoin trading. So we got to talking about that. But yeah, you could easily. I mean, I could easily make my own local wallet and keep it on a thumb drive. Or if I wanted to, I could make it a 3.5-inch floppy disk. You know, something that's supremely unrealistic that no one would ever look for. So,
well, I mean, really is, and if I understand it correctly, you don't even have to technically have anything electronic. You can generate a wallet that is nothing more than a series of either hexadecimal or alphanumeric code, and that is your wallet.
Yeah, that's your wallet.
You know, and you can go to any computer that supports this kind of thing, enter this code, and so you don't even have to have a computer. Just, you know, you can't exchange anything until you have done that. Right. But as far as just holding it, you don't even need electronic media of any kind.
Nope.
So, you know, and if you happen to be one of those people that, you know, never forgets, eidetic memory?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, you can keep it all in your head.
Yeah, there you go. It's a good idea.
So, well, if it's in your head, there's no way to extract it.
Wow.
So,
challenge accepted.
You know, well, you have to actually prove, you know, get whatever out and then test it.
Right. Yeah.
And it's easy enough to give fake information over and over and over. I mean, you know, it's not like a piece of paper that, you know, if it was written on a tablet and somebody just rips off the top one, you know, you can use a pencil to go underneath it and, you know, see what it was, especially if they're heavy-handed.
Yep.
So.
Sorry, guys. Apparently it's the end of the world here at my house.
Yeah.
the 6-year-old's falling asleep, and so they're like, "Go brush your teeth," and she just was like, "I don't want to go to bed." Ah! And you can probably hear her in the background, so I'm trying to keep this on mute as much as possible. It's trying to, that's part of doing it in the house.
Oh yeah.
That's it. I'm surprised mine hasn't been down here yet. Oh, we lost our first tooth tonight.
Oh.
Very nice.
The old dental floss on the door handle. Routine.
Are you gonna give him some Bitcoin for it?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna stick a wallet USB under his pillow.
No, I mean, to me, when it comes to cryptocurrencies, I think probably the one thing that is going to end up killing it, and I'm sure they realize this, and maybe I shouldn't say anything, but I'm going to anyway, because I really don't give a rat's ass one way or the other about cryptocurrency. I have none. I don't plan on getting any. What the fuck, is that what will eventually kill it is when the U.S. government or any other government realizes it is the ultimate money laundering tool.
Oh, they already know that, and also the EU's come out and issued warnings saying, "Hey, look, you guys need to crack down on this before it gets out of hand."
I don't think they. I think they kind of maybe see a little potential, but I don't think they really understand the depths of it yet. And when they do, you are going to see a crackdown of epic proportions.
And that may be part of the reason why you're seeing so much scrutiny being hit on exchanges like Coinbase. Is like I honestly think there's something going, some high level stuff going on where they're trying to, the government's trying to get their quote unquote fair share.
Yeah,
could be.
That's why you're starting to see a lot of key players starting to shift things around, being like, yeah, I'll set them out later.
Yeah, could be. I just know that I'm still really salty about that $5.4 million guitar.
Yeah.
I'm fucking pissed. Because I had 300 Bitcoin, right? And at $19,000 the other day, that would have been $5.4 million.
Yeah.
I traded. I'd be hanging out with you a hell of a lot more, sir.
Goddamn right. Yeah. I traded that 300 Bitcoin for $800 and a guitar. So
yeah.
I mean, it's worth it because I traded a $125 guitar for the 300 Bitcoin, and then I got a decent $300 guitar and $800 cash for 300. So it wasn't a bad deal at the time. I think I can't remember what it was worth at the time, honestly, but
hindsight's 2020 too. I mean, it's like you look at it, it's like I sold it at 2,000. I was like,
how long ago was this?
This was in 2009, 2010 maybe.
2010.
It wasn't. I want to say it was like $4 a piece, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot back then. I don't think.
I think I ended up at the time real time money. I think I came out like $100 down from that deal. Because I think it should have been around $1,200.
1 second, guys.
All right. Yeah. So it wasn't that big of a deal. Yeah. But I do know. I mean, I know guys that were buying pizza for 1,000 Bitcoins a piece.
Oh yeah.
That's a $19 million pizza now.
Yep. And it's just, again, like I said earlier, for me, until I don't think it's going to be anything really worthwhile until somebody steps up and introduces one. And sadly, as much as I hate it, I think if anybody's going to do it, it's probably going to be Amazon.
Yeah.
That actually has some backing. If Amazon doesn't do it, my number 2 choice for who might do it would be Walmart.
Yeah, I heard through the grapevine that Walmart and of course their online retailer now, iJet, and Amazon, and there was another big company that were starting to process payments in Bitcoin. They were starting to look into the behind the scenes of what they need to do to make that secure enough for them to do that. So
I don't see them doing it. It makes no positive sense and a fuck ton of negative sense to do that. Because let's say you do that and somebody buys something, that's a quarter of a Bitcoin, which is what, about $5,000 now, $4,000
some
now,
$4,000. Yeah.
$4,000 now. Okay, it's a quarter of a Bitcoin. So they buy a TV for $4,000, right? Okay, and so you Amazon gets a quarter of a Bitcoin. 2 weeks from now, it plummets to, instead of being $16,000 a share, Bitcoin, it's dropped to $4,000.
Yeah.
Well, that $4,000 TV, they just lost a fuck ton of money on. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do anything that is that volatile.
I agree, and that was part of the development, was to process the payment in U.S. dollars, but accept Bitcoin for the payment. So
it still doesn't matter.
Well, sure it does. If they're taking this money and then throwing it into an exchange and taking U.S. dollars for it.
If they're doing it immediately, yes.
Yeah, and that was the way I perceived the idea, and they're smarter than I am.
That's assuming they can find a buyer right then and there.
You can find a buyer. I mean, maybe not with that much influx, but the idea of this is that cryptocurrency will be what everyone's using. That's the idea, and it's not for that's what this whole misnomer is about Bitcoin. It's not so much that it's this hot commodity that people are trading back and forth. It's that this will eventually, one day in the future, doesn't matter if it's 60 years from now, this will be worth everything because it's going to be the only thing. And that's kind of that utopian dream that these people are thinking of.
Until there's something that provides some stability, I don't see big corporations, especially big retailers, touching it.
Yeah.
I don't. Now, like I said,
fair.
If Amazon doesn't want to do it alone, they could join forces. Amazon and Walmart and a bunch of other large retailers could join forces and produce our coin, retail coin, which again is backed by a fixed set of tangible goods, which gives it a fixed set value.
Yeah. I mean, sure, you could do that, and there's a coin that's supposed to have an ICO, which is initial coin offering. I want to say their target was summer of 2018, but they may be ramping it up. But it's based on something out of South Africa. I mean, South America. I can't remember what it was, coffee or guava or passion fruit or some bullshit. I don't know. I can't remember. But it's something along that. It's going to be tiny. It's going to be fractional, but But yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, but cryptocurrency has come from that as a pipe dream to retailers are considering it.
Yes, and again, like I said, I think what crypto has done has introduced blockchain.
Right.
That is what it has. That is what it has successfully done, because I'm starting to see blockchain being used for so many things other than cryptocurrency.
Right, and that's especially in the insurance world, you're starting to see like this insurtech, fintech stuff bringing in blockchain for different things, and also AI. You can't forget about the AI advancements that we're seeing too.
Yeah,
I don't think Bitcoin is the be all end all. I think it's a step in the right direction. It's a starting point.
Yeah, it's the benchmark right now.
Right.
I don't think it's the future. I think it's going to hit so high that it can't be the future.
It might be a catalyst for the next step in the natural evolution of things.
I think Bitcoin gets to the point where it's so high. I mean, I personally think that Bitcoin is going to be six figures for one, and I think once you would get to that point where there are no more being produced, there are no more being mined, then Bitcoin becomes the backing currency for these other currencies.
It may,
it's just a fucking tangle of web that we've never seen before.
Yep.
I mean, okay. Here's a hypothetical for y'all, okay? Amazon, Walmart, bunch of the large retailers.
We're still on this?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Get together. They produce our coin, retail coin, okay? And it's got a fixed value. And everybody starts suddenly using it. What happens to Bitcoin then?
It depends. Is there
competition in the marketplace? It is.
All this is made up market shit. I mean,
Yeah,
it's what we perceive it to be. So if we perceive our coin to be worth 10 bitcoins, then our coin wins. You know, it has a better trade value.
Yes, but when I can go and I can use our coin at Burger King, McDonald's, Walmart, Kroger, Amazon, ad nauseum, but I can't use Bitcoin at any of those, what happens to Bitcoin?
Well, you can't use Bitcoin anywhere now, and it's worth $16,000 a piece.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when we're talking in hypotheticals, we got to use real world data. If where we can, you can't use it anywhere, and it's worth a shit ton. So, when you can't use it anywhere in the future, it still might be worth a shit ton. There's no real way to flip that coin. But I do see where you're coming from. I would much rather have an R coin if I can use it somewhere.
And see, that's the point being is, I think that if there was an alternative out there that could be used everywhere, Bitcoin would dry up in a heartbeat.
But if that's the case, it would already be dried up, I think.
There's no alternative, though.
There's the dollar.
It's not an alternative. It's not.
Are we using Bitcoin just as a general?
Yes.
Nomenclature for crypto.
And the fact that it's the highest value.
Right. Yeah. I think that's why I see exactly what you're saying. I'm just also saying that you already can't use it in those places, and it's still worth $16,000.
Yes, but that's honestly what we have now are speculators.
Sure.
That's what the futures market is.
You know, it's a bunch of speculators who have driven it up. If those speculators dry up because suddenly, this isn't the winner.
Well, I think there'll always be speculators, no matter what the commodity is.
Yeah.
I mean, look at pork bellies. You know, that's still a thing. People still trade pork bellies. There's speculators.
Pork belly's fucking tasty.
Well, yeah, you can also use them for ammunition. So,
you know,
there's so many. There's really no way to tell, to be honest. There's no way to predict what's going to happen with any of these cryptocurrencies. I just, as someone who has believed in them for quite some time, I'm obviously a little biased, but I have heard for 10 years that cryptocurrency is never going to work. And I hear it for 3 years, and then it jumps up $400 or $500, and then it goes down $100, then it goes up $500, then it goes down a little bit, then it goes up 15,000. You know what I mean? So it's really hard for me to take any other argument serious when every single argument's been shot down so far.
Well,
but that's also biased. That's me having some intellectual dishonesty that I always bitch about because I'm biased on them.
I mean, to me, like I said, I think what's going to make or break a cryptocurrency is where can you use it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I can't use it, you know, for all my shopping and stuff, it's useless to me. I'm not going to even bother with it.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen Black Mirror?
No, I have not.
All right. So there's one episode, without spoiling it.
No spoilers, please. I hate spoilers.
This isn't a spoiler. So, but literally what they use are these fractional digital coins for everything, whether it's vending machine or shopping or whatever. And this is that's also how they earn. So if you go to work, you earn this digital currency at a small fractional rate. That could be the future, where everything literally takes Bitcoin, except now it's on a debit card. It's not. Your wallet is a card, and you're swiping it everywhere. But that would require some stabilization. That would also require us being like, finally, fuck the reserve and the dollar.
Again,
it would take so much crazy shit for that to be the norm.
That goes back to, again, something like our coin.
Right.
You know, where you have a bunch of retailers who have joined forces to develop one that has a fixed basis and a fairly fixed value.
Sure. Or they could buy up all the Bitcoin.
They could, but again, I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
There's still some out there to be mined. Not a lot, but there, you know. And mind you, it takes a beefy system to mine at it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you to mine a Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, there is. I read an article that there was like a 25-acre Chinese factory that's using coal to power the electricity to a plant that's mining Bitcoin, a digital currency. It's like the most back-ass logic you could think of. But yeah, when you have entire countries that you're competing against to mine Bitcoin, somebody like me with even if I had 20,000 to go buy a computer, I'm not mining a fucking Bitcoin ever.
Yeah.
I just don't have the power to do it. But Litecoin,
Although
sure.
it is getting harder to build a $20,000 PC. I just recently found out.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
I went on to Falcon Northwest, and I built the biggest, baddest, most loaded system they could do, and this was with the custom paint jobs and everything. It was only like 17 and some odd change.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy the shit that's happened.
I used to be able to build almost a $50,000 PC on there.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying. Bitcoin is way too far out of scope for it to be the norm of any currency.
Yeah.
It's never gonna be that until something starts to happen, until it starts to level out to the point where it shouldn't be traded.
Like I said,
Unless it's on like Forex, it's going up a little bit at a time.
And I may end up being proven wrong, but I honestly do not think any cryptocurrency is really going to take off and have any true utility until there is something that gives it a fixed value, something that stabilizes it and ensures it. Because until then, retailers are unlikely to accept it. Small mom and pops maybe, but large companies, no. Amazon's not going to risk it. Walmart's not going to risk it.
Yeah. And that's where the medium comes in. That's what most of the brain power behind crypto for years has been coming up with, this medium to be able to use Bitcoin at all of these places without them actually accepting Bitcoin. And the general consensus comes to like MasterCard, because MasterCard is actually, they have something, I can't remember, I saw it the other day, but it's something new that they're developing with Bitcoin. It's basically your wallet. Your wallet's on a card. And it's not perfect, because Bitcoin fluctuates. So you might go buy a car with your MasterCard, and it turns out you can't buy shit. Can't even buy a Matchbox. Yeah. So there's a lot of work to do, which is why at the beginning of the show, we all said you're just fucking stupid if you decide to dump all your money into this right now.
Yep.
I do have 3 friends that are certified millionaires over the past month.
Well, good for them. I mean,
they just did it all at the right time.
Like my dad says, this old Tennessee saying, so blind Sal picks up an acorn every now and then.
That's right.
And that's kind of how it is. People kind of, I remember when this thing first kicked off, and people were like, oh, this is going to be the next big thing. And, people were buying it up then, and now they're not regretting their choice. I think, but what we're seeing right now, especially over the past couple of weeks, is emotion. Nothing really technical over it. People are just jumping on a bandwagon, and it's driving it up.
Yep.
Same with any type of IPO, for example. Facebook came out, they drove it up. The difference is that at least with a Facebook stock, you're getting dividends. There's a company that's backing that stock to an extent.
Yep.
I remember Red Hat's IPO. It's like that was back when I actually had some extra money. I so wanted to get into that, but the IPO rules wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's happening. Will it go up? Yeah, there's a great chance that Bitcoin's going to go up. If you look at just the trend, yeah, most likely. However, I do see that 20,000 seems to be a very hard resistance level. So
for now,
if it breaks it though, watch out.
Yeah, if it breaks it, it's gonna go up. But
people are gonna be like, oh shit, it broke, bro.
Right.
Throw some money at it.
Throw some money at it. And I'll wake up tomorrow morning, it's 32. I'll be like, son of a bitch, we need to delete this video.
Damn. I just want my .000000021 for Bitcoin. I just want that to make me.
I want to retire off that. That's all I want
to do. Even if it goes up to 32 overnight, this video will still be relevant because it could get to 7 figures. Okay, we could be looking at $1 million of Bitcoin, and then suddenly overnight something happens. It crashes hard, and, well, it's going to get ugly.
Besides something major like that hypothetical R coin that you're talking about coming into it, fuck, I forgot where I was going. Oh, yeah. I'm not sure what could cause it to drop that much because literally as it's climbing from 15,000 to 19,000 and whatever day it was last week, Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday, literally in the middle of that, $70 million in Bitcoin was stolen and nothing happened to the market. Not even a fucking blip.
Yeah.
If that would have been a bank, if this would have been Wells Fargo's IPO and it was launching through the fucking ceiling and someone broke in and stole $70 million,
Yeah.
gone. Wells Fargo would shut down right then. So it's such an irregular market. That's why predictions. I think it's going to go through the roof. If you guys think it's going to go through the floor, we're probably both right.
Yeah, I think it's going to continue to go up for a while, but sooner or later something will happen. I don't know what. Whether it be speculators finally just get tired of it, nuclear war.
Well, yeah, an EMP will take care of all this probably.
Yeah, fucking that little fat Korean's gonna.
Yeah, that's all.
He's gonna steal it all and put it all in a rocket.
He's gonna turn a bunch of anarcho-capitalists and libertarians into like just bloodthirsty warlords. Be like, fuck this guy.
Here's the thing, though. From what I understand, of the type of weapons he has and the way they're designed to be used, there will be little to no actual EMP effects from his weapons.
No, it's more like big mushroom cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not so
because
much.
Because an EMP burst is high altitude.
No.
His aren't designed for that.
No, they're low altitude.
Not yet. Not that we know of. We don't know everything that's going on.
True, but I mean, from what we have
that
seen
little bastard's
so far,
ambitious.
He is. He's got his hackers taking down cryptocurrency exchanges in South Korea. He's hungry. He's hungry for something.
Yeah. Statistically speaking, though, I mean, from what we have seen, he is looking at A bombs and H bombs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, he's looking for something. You know, you load it up with tritium, you know, to get a bigger blast because it. You know, he's not looking at a neutron bomb, which is designed for massive EMP and massive, you know, radiation bursts without doing tangible damage to, you know, the area around it. You know, it's designed to kill off all life forms, but leave everything else intact. Doesn't hurt infrastructure. So.
Yeah, he'll be real pissed when he comes over here and tries to drive through fucking Alabama without fucking up those roads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If I was him, I'd just take it all away.
Mm. Got anything else on this topic? We're ready to kill this show.
I think it's time to kill the show.
I think we beat it down. Again, anyone who's watching, do not invest money that you cannot afford to just take out in the backyard and set on fire into Bitcoin or any type of futures, derivatives, equities,
anything.
All right, this is not investment advice. This is
life advice.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck emotional investments.
Exactly. Do not get emotionally involved into this. I swear to God, if I see the Bitcoin drop and people start jumping off buildings, I'm just gonna be like, social Darwinism at its finest.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yep.
Should have listened to our podcast.
That's right. You should listen to us more. But other than that, check out our Facebook page, Uncivil Liberty Show. We have a Twitter account, Uncivil Liberty. Yes. No.
I think it's Uncivil Liberty Show.
It's uncivil_show.
Uncivil Show. Uncivil _ show. And
Yeah,
check us out on our website, uncivilliberty.com.
And
we
the
got our
podcasts.
And
all the links to everything we have as far as podcast is on the site now. That includes iTunes, that includes Google Play, and Twitcher.
Stitcher,
yeah.
A Twitcher is what you call a girl's piece that she carries around with her. You know what I'm saying? You're a little dirty like.
No, I have Twitch on the mind.
Twitch.
Yeah.
Twitch. Yeah, I got some Twitch on too.
Me too. I'm about to go get some Twitch right now.
If you, somebody did reply to the comment, so okay.
All right, guys.
No, that was something else. Okay. But yeah, that's where all the podcasts are. I'll get this downloaded and uploaded shortly. So
All right. Well, I think all the good show. There's nothing else. We'll close this bad boy out.
Yeah, you guys stay tuned for some of our special segments we have coming up.
Yeah,
so
we're
look out on Facebook.
We're changing up some of these formats and whatnot, and trying to be a little more diverse in what we do. So we should see what the new year brings.
Yep.
But other than that, we're gonna close it out. You've been listening to Uncivil Liberty. You've spent an hour and some odd of your time with us, and we appreciate it. And I'll forego the masturbation reference this time. You guys have a good night.
Okay, good night.
Jack you later.
Yes.